Hello, 7th graders. Your new video is going to be on the area of other figures. And one figure that we're going to do first is a trapezoid. And we actually ended up yesterday in one of our labs that we did, we cut out a trapezoid and then we had to do some things with it. So we're going to kind of continue along with that today. So there are two bases to a trapezoid, and that's the top and the bottom normally, unless it's sitting on its side. It's the two sides that are parallel from each other, across from each other. They're parallel. The height of the trapezoid is just like all the other figures we've done so far. It has to be a straight line. You can't use the slanted sides. And so the formula for the area of a trapezoid is right here. It's 1/2 of the height times base 1 plus base 2. Don't let this little 2 and little 1 scare you. All it means is the first base and the second base. You add your bases together. And yes, it is in parentheses, which means you have to add them first before you can do anything with them with the rest of the formula. H is height and the B's are the bases. So here is a trapezoid for you. So if I want to find the area of this trapezoid, again, just like all the other formulas we've done, you need to start by writing the formula down. So area equals 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. And so I'm just going to fill in my numbers. So 1/2 has to be there. It's part of the formula. My height has to be straight up and down, so it can't be these 4.5s on the side. It's slanted. So my height is 4.4. My bases are here and here because they're parallel each other. It doesn't really matter which one is base 1 and base 2. You're going to add them together anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, B1 just means base 1, base 2. So I could do 1/2 of 4.4, which is 2.2, and then I still have to multiply it times whatever this is when I add it, which would be 15.5. And so if I multiply that together, two decimals. So it looks like 34.1. And again, because it's area, you have to label it with this little 2 right here. All area has to be labeled with that little 2. So it's 34.1 square meters for my answer for the area of this trapezoid. Again, just follow your formula. Your formula tells you what to do. 1/2 of the height times base 1 plus base 2, and because of these parentheses, you have to do that before you can multiply it. So then, now we should know how to do the area of a triangle, area of a square, area of a rectangle, area of a regular looking parallelogram, area of a trapezoid. And so we can use all of that information. So if I have a really strangely shaped figure, don't get scared just because it looks weird. Okay, we can break it up into pieces. And we're going to say feet, but I'm not going to draw in all of it because it's going to get too messy looking. It's feet. Okay, and these are, knowing this bit of information, I should have what I need to find the answer here. Okay, so basically, if this was connected, I would have a rectangle, right? If this line was here, if it wasn't missing, I would have a rectangle, okay? So this whole thing from here all the way to here is 27 feet, and here to here is 12 feet. So don't you suppose I could take my 12 times my 27, find the area of this whole rectangle, and then just subtract this little chunk. That should work. So area of a rectangle would be base height, and so the whole thing is 27, and the height of the whole thing is here, it's 12. So 27 times 12 is 324 square feet. Okay, but that's not my final answer because I need to cut out this piece right here. So I need to figure out what are my base and my height, and you can see here that it makes a right triangle. Well, if I know that from here to here is 15, how much is left for this piece? The whole thing is 27, so 27 minus 15 is 12. Okay, so I know that this missing chunk is 12. And so on a right triangle, we never use the longest side, which is this side, so I'm not going to use that. My base and my height are right here. So I'm just going to plug it into my formula. 1/2 of 12 by 9, or 9 by 12, same thing. I'm going to get the same answer. So 1/2 of 12 is 6. 6 times 9 is 54. So I have 54. But that's not my answer either, because this chunk right here is really not part of the figure, right? So I need to subtract it. So 324 minus 54. So I get 270 square feet for this figure without that little chunk in there. So you can do it, you have to break it into two pieces to be able to figure it out. So we're going to use what we know to find what we don't know. There's going to be all kinds of different strangely shaped figures in our assignment that we're going to do, but we're going to use all the pieces we've learned to be able to figure it out. So bring that knowledge with you, and we'll talk about it more the next time I see you. Have a good night.